I like singing about what I'm grateful for, you know? I like to, or do we like to sing about joy?
Everything, girl. All your songs are so amazing. I'm grateful, that would be good, but you were also, there's this thing about my own guru. Because, you know, that's one very important thing indeed when you get in touch with your Kundalini. Some people hear us and they say, but Kundalini awakening is known to be very difficult. Some people went away for years trying to get it. The thing is that when you experience it with Sri Mataji, you really understand that she was really a saint that came at the good time of humanity's need. She knew, like all prophets also knew, that humanity would actually get stuck at a place and they would need help to be guided out. Because the ego can take over us really easily. And we know that the only way out of the ego is through our Kundalini, meaning through our sacred power inside. Only spirit can have power over ego, not ego. If you try to use your mental to take away your ego, it's like you're inviting this obnoxious boxing a boxer into the boxing ring. So yeah, I want to fight you. You're just inviting it. But if you're able to drown it in the sea of the peace and the love that is contained in your Kundalini.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear about your experience with the realization, because you know, with inside yoga, it's the first step is getting your self-realization, the awakening of your Kundalini. And as my grandparents were practicing and my parents, and then I was born into this awakening already. I love hearing the journey of people who've had their self-realization
later on in their life.
Because I don't have that contrast, you know.
Yes, indeed.
So I'd love to hear about it.
Well, the word contrast really is perfect because it was exactly what it was. It was night and day, literally, because I was indeed in a period of my life where I had a difficult event that happened on my musical path, rather on the business side of things.
And this is what you were talking about in your TEDx.
That's
TEDx
it.
Talk.
Yeah. So, to make a long story short, it made me fall into quite a dark hole. And they say that it's sometimes when you're in the deepest hole that's when the light can come or comes to find you. And basically I was also sleepless from this. And I went to a concert, actually, of people practicing this meditation. And I was invited there, was not expecting anything. And by the end of the concert, my mind was completely silent. And I had never experienced that with all the music that I have seen, made, you know. I had never experienced something like that. When I left the place and I went to my car in the parking, I realized how my head was fully silent. And you know that effect of the fridge, when there's a fridge, you don't notice the noise, and then when you unplug it, that's when you go, ah. You know that silence that comes? Well, that was it. And then you makes you realize how much static you have in your head. But what happened was the miracle that happened is because of the silence, I slept like a baby that night. So I could not avoid saying, whoa, this is something special, because of all the sleeping pills you could try. Nothing ever worked. So I called the person and said, I'm sorry, I have to know more about this, because what happened that how come I got so silent? And she said, well, it's probably your Kundalini that awakened. And I hadn't even heard that word before. And I wanted to know more, and she was a beautiful heart. Shout out to you, Özlem. And I said, I'd need this in my life right now. And she said, sure, just come over. I'll show you how to do it. And I sat down in her living room, and she guided me. And literally, it's really like if you're sitting in a dark room and then suddenly the light goes on. Yeah. But then when you realize that switch of the light was inside of you, like I was ecstatic, and that I was crying. I was because but it was not a confused kind of, it was really the most touching and peaceful thing, because you realize I've been going all around looking for a solution, and it was right there inside of me. And then the next question was like, whoa, how can that be so powerful? Because what happened is that not only do you feel your head is getting completely emptied, you feel like you're at a reset. I experienced it like I kind of opened my eyes again. Everything was the same, but nothing was the same. It's as if I was witnessing everything. The other thing was I could not really remember my past.
It wasn't important anymore.
I could have memory, I could see the images of it or whatever, but I was completely unaffected by it. It's as if I had really turned the page, or as if this Kundalini came as a big eraser on a blackboard, and the blackboard was fresh. Yeah. And then that's when I realized, oh my God, what they say about infinite possibilities, it's in that state that I could really understand what it means. You know, with that blackboard completely, you're free to write whatever you want on that blackboard. But then you also lose this whole aspect of attachment to any material in order to fulfill you, because you realize how material is at a very low frequency compared to what you're vibrating in at that moment. So it's very, very difficult to explain in words, although this is quite close to what I've experienced, plus so much more, because I think you're just drenched in love. You're just drenched in love, and you don't realize that it's love. You don't realize that that's what it is. But then you see it everywhere. You see it. I used to walk in the forest and see the wind blow in the leaves, and I would see love, because I would see the love the wind has for the wind, the leaves. I would see some trees that had fallen on other trees because of a storm, and I would say, look at the love, the support that they give. I mean, I was completely, you know what, the funniest thing? I knew that something had really changed when one day I was in this complete bliss, and then I just felt a presence on my arm, and then I looked, and it was a mosquito. And then instead of going, you know, killer instinct, I looked closer to it. And then I saw its, how do you call it?
Stingy,
bitey thing in my skin. And I saw it like drink, like it was having a cocktail or something. And I was finding it so beautiful. It's like, oh my God, I'm feeding another human being. You know,
so
if that's not love, you know, is that all love? Some people say, "Whoa, it sounds like a drug trip." No, never taken any drugs. This is really, it's a natural high, but you stay in it if you practice it, and the practice is basically staying connected to your energy. It didn't take much,
but that's a real state of compassion as well towards the mosquito. You know, you didn't just kill it.
No,
you wanted to.
I kind of.
You had compassion for another creature, and that
was hungry.
It's a very Buddhist kind of Zen, you know.
Yeah, I could have studied. I had studied all that stuff or tried to apply it, but I couldn't help by killing the mosquito.
Buddha was enlightened, yes. Yeah. Buddha was enlightened, but, and this is something Shramataji talks about.
Yeah.
You know, Buddha was enlightened. Obviously, Christ was enlightened. There's been a lot of enlightened, well, not so many, but there's been a few enlightened souls. And it was every, how many decades, how many centuries, every few centuries you'd have an enlightened soul. But could they enlighten other beings?
That's it. Could they really actually give it?
Pass
That's
the
it.
light on?
Could they really do it? They could give us the teachings, we can study it, we can try to apply it, but do we have the real tools?
And that's what Srimataji has enabled us to do.
Absolutely.
We are able to become our own gurus.
Yes.
We are able to share the light.
Yes.
We're able to enlighten the other candles and pass it on. And that's really the mission that she started with Sahaja Yoga.
Absolutely.
Was to create.
And she was a guru that wanted us to be our own gurus. You wrote a song about this, girl.
Yeah.
Let's sing it.
Tempo good?
Yep. 1, 2, 3. Feel the joy, joy, joy.
Joy is a quality that is established when we nourish our first chakra, the Muladhara chakra.
Joy is actually really contained in that Kundalini energy. This is why from a state of burnout and depression,
you lose your joy.
You do, but after the awakening, I was in such a joy for no reason. I was just joyful, just
but we don't
happy
need
to be alive. No, but
I know.
Happy to be alive.
That's what life is. That's what life should be, right?
Yeah, but you know how it's difficult. It's usually theoretical. Yes, we should be. But that's the thing. If we don't have this source, it's really difficult. Even when you're in that source moment, it's easy to forget. But that joy that comes sometimes with just a stroke of the hand, you raise your Kundalini, and then it's like it all falls down. Thank you, Shri Mataji, for making it so easy.
So let's praise Shri Ganesha with this one.
Yeah.
So Ganesha being the deity that governs the first chakra, the Muladhara chakra. And he was the embodiment of joy. The child, like God, with the elephant head. Om Gam Ganapataye, Shri Ganesha Ki Jai.
Yes.
Victory to Ganapataye, Shri Ganesha.
Om Gam Ganapataye, Shri Ganesha Ki Jai. 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 Feel the joy, joy, joy. 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 I feel joy when I'm walking barefoot on the sand. I feel joy seeing the beauty of this great land. I feel joy when I'm swimming in the deep blue sea. I feel joy in good company. Feel the joy, joy, joy. Feel the joy, joy, joy. Yeah. Feel the joy, joy, joy. Feel the joy, joy, joy. I feel joy in meditation. I feel joy seeing the beauty of creation. I feel joy having some deep conversation. I feel joy in this cool
And Sri Ganesha is the guardian of Australia as well.
Yes,
which is my birthplace.
The land where you are from.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a special
yes.
connection there. And
even that red rock, right? The Uhuru is a symbol. Yeah.
Symbol of Sri Ganesha.
Of Sri Ganesha. Yeah, Australia is a beautiful land.
And that's the beautiful thing about Sahaja Yoga as well, and the knowledge that Sri Mataji compiled, because she wasn't necessarily bringing new knowledge to the table. You know, this is very deep, ancient knowledge that goes. It's in all of the scriptures, but she compiled it in the knowledge, in the depth of knowledge that she had was, you know, with the 7 main chakras, and there being a reciting deity for each chakra, and there being certain qualities that become enlightened, become awakened, become manifested in you when you nourish and clear and cleanse these chakras. Yeah. So it was just such a complete body of knowledge that she offered to the world, you know. It's
infinite. It is infinite. Yeah. This is what really touched my heart too. First of all, just to realize that somebody gave their big part of their life to just this cause, to tell human beings, this is where it is, and you can awaken it. And from the pure generosity of her heart for the emancipation of humankind. It's why did she do it? It was for our emancipation. And when you live it, when you really actually experience your emancipation like I did that day, I really said, whoa, who is that person? She must be something else. And then you start digging into all the stuff that she knew and she told us and she gave us, just recorded, and I learned so much. So many things made sense. The chakras, what they represent. When you're left side, you feel guilty, accumulates there.
And you feel a heaviness, you feel a tingling, you
feel pressure. Yeah. Like I've been giving, when I was living in Berlin, I was giving a meditation program every Monday, and people would raise their kundalinis. They would luckily, very happily feel it, and then we would go into checking how our subtle system was, you know, and each finger represents, each energy center is represented by a finger. So they would suddenly say, oh, you know, like, oh, this finger is tingling, or oh, this finger is burning, or there's numb. And I would show them, for example, well, this finger actually represents, for example, your material well-being, the financial state of your life, and things like that. And you would get people go, whoa, this is not possible. This is exactly what I'm going through, you know, things like this. So it's this energy really picks up what is going on in us, and is not revealing to judge, it's actually revealing to help us clear it out. And it is so accurate, so precise, it is crazy intelligent. It's amazing. Yeah?
It's that mothering quality, right? The Kundalini is a mothering energy.
It is.
That
that's
just wants us to
feel
grow into the best possible people that we can be.
And just be happy. And just be happy as well. You know, just be well, happy, balanced, and exactly. Then tap into your deeper mission indeed, if this is what you feel. But for anyone, it is accessing yourself without the craziness. And then you realize how much beauty there is inside of you, how much you can share.
We're going to do a little ascension through the 7 chakras, calling upon, greeting the deities that reside in each of them. Let's do that?
Yeah, there's a different deity for each chakra.
And we're going to do it?
Yes.
Rayah style.
Rayah style. Check it out.
Saraswati Stan.
Saraswati Nirmala. Saraswati Nirmala. Saraswati Nirmala.
Third chakra.
Lakshmi Vishnu Nirmala. Lakshmi Vishnu Nirmala. Shri Lakshmi. Lakshmi Vishnu Nirmala. Lakshmi Vishnu Nirmala.
For the heart.
Durga Mata Nirmala.
Jai Jagadamba.
Durga Mata Nirmala.
Open that heart.
Durga Mata Nirmala. Durga Mata Nirmala.
For the throat, the voice.
Radha Krishna Nirmala. Sing loud. Radha Krishna Nirmala. With a sweet voice. Radha Krishna Nirmala. Radha Krishna Nirmala.
For the head.
Jesus Mary Nirmala. Forgive everybody. Jesus Mary Nirmala. Forgive yourself. Jesus Mary Nirmala. Jesus Mary Nirmala. Adi Shakti Nirmala.
Open that Sahasrara up.
Adi Shakti Nirmala.
Integration.
Adi Shakti Nirmala.
Evolution.
Adi Shakti Nirmala. Adi Shakti Nirmala. Yeah. Adi Shakti Nirmala. Adi Shakti Nirmala. A little become yourself, not just words. Adi Shakti Nirmala. Because you have to become yourself. Open up your heart to everyone else. You have to become yourself. Open up your heart to everyone else. You have to become yourself. Open up your heart to everyone else. You have to become yourself. Open up your heart to everyone else. You have to become yourself. Open up your heart to everyone else. You have to become yourself. Open up your heart to everyone else. You have to become yourself. Open up your heart to everyone else. You have to become yourself. Open up your heart. Open up your heart.
Woo! We can put our legs down. We walk out with a crab.